people? Welcome to Have Guitar Will Travel, presented by Vintage Guitar Magazine, with your host, me, James Patrick Regan, otherwise known as Jimmy from the Deadlies. And today I'm speaking with Bobby Rush and Kenny Wayne Shepard in a quick interview about their new album, Young Fashioned Ways. In this interview, Bobby and Kenny discuss the inspiration for the new album, which was Bobby's desire to work with Kenny. Kenny tells us a little bit about the authenticity of the album, most tracks cut in one take, and Kenny tells us about the 2 electric guitars, the 2 acoustic guitars, and the 2 amps he used on the album. Bobby describes the connection the two have and the other musicians used on the album. Kenny tells us about the studio in Memphis where they recorded the album and how they came up with the tune choices. Finally, Bobby talks about touring at age 91 and Kenny touring with 6 kids at home, and the two discuss their tour plans for the album. You can find out more about the album and the tour at Kenny's website, KennyWayneShepard.net, or Bobby's website, BobbyRushBluesBand.com. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, and most of all, review this podcast. I'd really appreciate it. And please support Vintage Guitar Magazine and all the wonderful things they do for us guitar players. Because you know what? They do so many wonderful things for us guitar players. Here's my friends, Bobby and Kenny.
How's it going? Where are you at there, man? Is this your little, where you work on all your stuff?
Yeah.
I see about 1 million laminates hanging up behind you on the wall there.
It is literally the woodshed.
Cool. That's good.
Yep. I hear Bobby.
That's it young for you, man. Come on.
Well, you both look very handsome.
I'm glad you put me in it. You
know, I could talk to both of you guys for hours and hours and hours, but I'm sure we only have a few minutes, so I don't want to waste too much time. I'm going to ask you a generic question, and I apologize, but what brought about the album?
Well, for me, love of the music, and I wanted to do something with Kenny, but I didn't know how to approach him, honestly. I didn't think he would be interested in something with me. I know I could listen to his playing. I know the depth of his playing. I could tell he loved the blues.
Sure.
But I didn't know I was in the one of the people that he loved with the Muddy Water and the Howler Wolf. I didn't know I was one of the guys that he would put in his pack that he had love for. And then I didn't know how to. If I hadn't known that, I'd have told him 2 years ago at least this happened. But I'm glad it came out like it did. We didn't plan this per se. We know we was going to cut a record. We let the music cut us for what it is now. And we didn't plan to go this out. As we did it, I think some other thoughts come in his mind and my mind by adding some other musician, other direction of production to it. It just happened, man.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah, for me, it was like an opportunity. You know, you just... I mean, I've had a few opportunities in my career over the years to do some really special projects, you know, and especially blues-related projects. You know, back in like 2008, I think was the year we did the 10-day blues from the back roads. We did the documentary film and album where we went through, you know, and played with these incredible blues musicians and like, you know, did that whole experience. And that was really an incredible experience. And then, you know, this is a very, like, you know, long down the line, but an extension of that, you know, being able to play with somebody who I've looked up to and idolized. I mean, you know, because he's like, Bobby is he's the real deal. Yeah. And not only is he the real deal, but he still performs at such an incredibly high level. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, if you listen to this record, like everything you hear, everything he's saying, every harmonica solo that he played, all that stuff is exactly how it happened in the studio. Yeah. We're not using any tricks. We're not using auto-tune. There is no single word that he's saying that we put a tuning on at all on the whole record. Yeah. And so we make this record completely the way albums should be made. Sure. And it's all based around real talent. And so, you know, you're with Vintage Guitar Magazine, like the whole thing is like, as guitarists, we love your magazine because we love to go back and connect with these instruments that were made so long ago that we believe are the origin of, you know, the instruments that are being made today. And they're the real deal. And there's something about those instruments that they did back then that really isn't able to be completely duplicated today. And that's the same thing when you have somebody like Bobby Rush.
Sure. Yep.
He's part of the origins of this blues music that I and so many other people love so much, and has helped me to build a career off of that kind of music. And it's a connection back to, you know, a man and a generation that helped pave the way and create this sound that so many people have tapped into over the years. And so to be able to do a record with somebody of his stature and his talent and his ability is just, you know, that was something I couldn't pass up. And I was glad when I asked him about it that he said he had the same idea, that we should go make a record together, because we played together on stage at my blues festival.
I just want to add to that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I remember I left with the gig. And I knew then, I said to myself, I didn't say to him, the kid, and I said, well, he got my soul. Whatever he do, I'm gone. This guy had me down so pat. When I got back, he had a song. And I went looking for the song to fit the track I heard. Hey, baby. and I was talking about a man and a woman who was in a relationship.
Yep.
And they had been in and out. She been saying she love him. Next day she do, next day she don't. Kind of switch about, like life with people. And this time I'm here. Hey, baby, what are we gonna do? You keep going in and out of my life. You keep, this is like, what are we gonna do? And I really want to say, what you gonna do? I want to say, what are we gonna do? You know, and he understood that really. I said, I got to live with that. Come on, I got it, you know. But he, by that time, we were 4 or 5 songs down into this recording, and he done figured out me now about what to do and what not to do.
Sure.
Quick learning. And so, and I said, whatever you have, whatever you come up with, I got the story for it. That's kind of like that. It happened.
Yeah. The other musicians that you used on the record, who are they?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I cheated him a little bit on that. I wanted to do this song because I was crazy about this song. But I didn't like what I did with it the other 2 times I recorded. But I didn't find the guitar player at all. And I said to my son, I said, listen, I'm going to cut this record again. He said, well, you going to send it to him? I said, no, I'm not going to send it to him. I knew the record. I knew if he didn't hear the record, he would do any on the record. That would be what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted to do this record so bad. Uncle Easy. Been on my heart. That's one of my favorite records that I talked about. Because there was an old man called him Toots who taught me everything that I knew about my little guitar when I was a little boy.
Yeah.
I went to sing about it.
Yeah. Right on.
And I wanted him to put, and he did it too. And he was, oh God. I didn't have to ask him what to do. I tell him what to do. I'll tell him what I thought I wanted him to do. He just did.
Yeah. And so when we went in to make this record, we really went in without much of a plan. I think he and I both thought that we were just going to go in there and just make a really kind of stripped down blues record.
Sure.
And we didn't really even talk about any of the songs that we were going to record or anything. Like literally, it's the first time I ever walked into a studio and I had like zero idea of any of the songs we were going to record. You know, all I knew was like I believed in, you know, my abilities and his abilities, and that we would come up with something great. So when I packed up my stuff, it was his idea to go to Memphis to do the record, because it was the midway point between him living down in Mississippi and me up in Nashville. And so we went to Royal Studios. He had recorded a bunch there before, and I had done some stuff there. And, you know, true to the whole vintage vibe, I mean, that whole studio is like a time warp. If you go in there, it's literally like, you know, takes you back to the 50s, 60s, 70s. Like, you know, it's all original. And I packed up my car, you know, I had my 1938 CF Martin, you know, 0021 acoustic, and I brought my 65 ES330 and my 61 Strat, and I think that was it. And then I brought 2 amps. I brought my Blackface 64 Vibra Verb that Dumble did for me, and my little Tweed Deluxe, a little Tweedledee 57 Tweed Deluxe amp that he built for me as well. And I thought, between this Martin acoustic and these two electrics and these two amps, I should have everything covered. I'll be prepared for whatever we choose to do. And then there was a 12-string Guild acoustic at the studio that I ended up picking up and playing on one of the songs called G-string. But what we started, every song started as me and him sitting in the room together. That's it.
Oh, wow.
A couple of acoustic guitars and him with the microphone and a harmonica. And then everything, we just let the music tell us what it wanted. So as we got a couple songs into it, I was like, man, I'm really hearing this Al Green kind of organ part. He was like, well, I know the guy, the actual guy that played all that stuff on Al Green's records. And so, next thing you know, like 30 minutes later, he's in the studio with us and he's playing all this amazing stuff that I was hearing in my head on these tracks. And then I was like, man, I don't know. I think maybe like on this one, I hear like a real shuffle. Like, I think maybe we need to get, the drummer in here. So we got Steve Potts and I believe Bobby's worked with Steve. Steve played on my first record. Steve plays with like Booker T and the MGs. He was in the Blues Brothers band. I mean, he's incredible. And so the next thing, we had all these Memphis cats, in the studio working with us. And, we had them there to go on whichever songs we felt like they needed to go on. So the end result is you have this record that takes you, in my opinion, it instrumentally takes you on a historical journey of the different sounds of blues music. Because some of the songs are just totally stripped down acoustic, harmonica, vocal. And that's like the origins, like the Mississippi Delta, like original blues music. And then you have the electric guitar, and the introduction of the electric sound into the blues music. And then, and then we have the full band, and then we even add a horn section on a couple songs. So instrumentally, it kind of gives you a bit of a history lesson in blues music.
Yeah. Would you say that What She Said is kind of like how it began?
Yeah, that one is totally stripped down. The last track on the record that's just straight up. And there's a couple more. There's one more for sure that's G-string is just G-string. And then we have other ones where it's like, well, now we have acoustic guitar and organ and an electric guitar solo and harmonica and a vocal. And then we had some where it's like, okay, we got piano and Steve's playing, rim shots on the snare rim, but like there's no bass and there's no horns. And then, so we really just let the music tell us what it needed.
Yep. And Bobby, what's it going to be like for you to tour at 91 years old?
I don't know what it's going to make me do, but whatever it is. No, I'm feeling good about it. I think it's both of us professional enough to know that we're tweaking in a way. If one thing don't work, something else will. I don't know what's going to be. If things work like we planned, that's where we go with it. If it don't work, I think we have enough in ourselves to tweak everything and support the mama to make it work. Because what we both want to do, satisfy the people, want people to enjoy it.
Sure, of course.
It's not about him or myself. It's about the public now.
Yeah,
we want the women to enjoy it and what we're doing, and we want to enjoy doing what we're doing for the people.
Yeah, and Bobby's always on tour. He's like me. He's always on the road. So there's no slowing him down, and he doesn't have to get ready for us. We got to get ready for him.
You have 6 kids, right?
I do. Yeah, I got 6.
Do you take them with you on the road, or how do you do that? How do you manage that?
So it depends. Like as they've gotten older, school kind of complicates things because you can't miss too many days of school. So whenever the opportunities, presents itself, like I think at the end I'm on the Hendrix tour right now. And so the last week of the Hendrix tour, I think my 3 youngest and my wife are going to come out and join me for a week. So it just depends on their schedule, but I try and get them out here when it works.
And Bobby, how many kids do you have?
I have 4 kids, and 5 grandkids, and 3 great grandkids, and 2 great.
Wow. Do you guys all get together at the holidays?
Oh yeah. I got some time I'm gonna block out for Father's Day. I'm gonna kind of get all the grandkids together for Father.
Right on.
I'm gonna have great grands, and try to have everybody at my son's house, which is grandfather, great grandfather.
Wow.
What a fresh time in a long run.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So there's 40 dates on the tour?
Well,
I don't know the exact number.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't either. I'm just glad to have the numbers. I haven't had the number because
I know we have a bunch of dates between now and July, and then we're going to Europe in July, and then we come back. We have more dates in the U.S., and I think they've still been announcing a few more new ones later on in the year. So I think they're probably adding them as we go.
I'm in Northern California. You guys are coming to Napa, I think in September. I don't remember the date, but I'm looking forward to seeing you guys for sure.
Well, thank you very much for having us on.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's literally an honor to talk to both of you, and I hope I get to maybe when you're in Napa, I get to talk to you a little longer.
Okay, yeah, come on out.
I will for sure.
All right,
thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right,
bye. Thanks for listening to Have Guitar Will Travel. You can catch up on all the things I'm doing at thedeadlies.com, and I'm on all the social media platforms as well. And please support Vintage Guitar and all the wonderful things they do, because they do many, many wonderful things for us guitar players. Thanks. Please subscribe. Please tell a friend, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.